Today we're talking to St City manager Ian Allinson after the Saints have drawn 1-1 at Clarence Park with Margate in National League South. We went behind Ian in something like 1 minute and 14 seconds. We equalised just shy of 4 minutes into added time. Had you just about given up hope by then?
Yeah, I think so. Second half, I felt again we started sloppy. Just didn't really defend again. You know, we don't expect the ball to be put back behind us like they did. We had good possession of the ball in the first couple of minutes, and before you know, we were 1-0 down. And as I say, we worked. I thought we played really well first half. I thought we played some lovely football. Their keepers got a hand to everything that we've done. And then second half, we had a couple of half chances, but they defended for their lives, which they've got to at this stage of the season, and it looked like they'd seen it out until obviously Charlie scored a wonderful goal in the 94th minute. But for me, again, it just highlights really some of the problems we still have defensively, that we can't defend the ball over the top. I say Michael Fellis has out-bullied Joe and it's rolled it between James's legs, and you're 1-0 down and then you've got to go and chase the game against a side that's fighting for its life. We've seen the same against Gosport, went down early on against them. We did the same against Bishop Stortford, going down a minute into the second half. And again against Truro, the 4 teams in that bottom region that we've not done well against.
They can also chuck in there, going back to Christmas time, Oxford City are in big trouble. They did double over us in 5 days. Our record against the bottom sides is not good. We've helped a lot of sides in their battle against relegation.
Yeah, exactly, without a shadow of a doubt. And you know, sometimes you have to look at the mentality of the players. You know, I feel that, you know, we don't do anything different to where we are when we're playing a team like Dartford or Hungerford, as we've done over the last 2 weeks. As we're playing Margate, we try and make sure that we stop the consciousness that we're actually playing a team in the lower regions, and we've got to go out and probably work twice as hard against some of these sides, because they are fighting for their lives. And you know, teams aren't going to come at you like Hungerford came at us last week, Dartford came at us, and when you've got a team that sat back against us and caused us some hard decisions to try and break them down, and we didn't really in the second half. We sort of huffed and puffed and really didn't break them down, and luckily enough we got, you know, as I said, you there, a worldie from Charlie in the 94th minute.
Going to Hungerford last week with a 4-5-1 formation, I think a lot of people understood that as a good idea. I was talking to a supporter at half time. He thought we had it wrong doing the same formation at home to Margate today.
Well, that supporter should be standing where I am then, because that formation worked against Dartford, that formation worked against Hungerford, and the formation has worked quite well again today. But you know, that supporter should be standing here doing my job. You know, they've all got opinions, and their opinions sometimes are wrong, and I don't agree with that. We went to 4-4-2 in the second half, and the 2 forwards were poor. They didn't play as a partnership. Sam Merson didn't win a header. Charlie was tired at times, playing offside. So, listen, it's all about opinions at the end of the day, and I think my opinion over the last couple of weeks has been good. I think my decision to play the way we played today was correct. And if we'd have gone in at 2 or 3-1 up at half time, it'd have been the correct decision. So, you know, when things ain't going well, people have got an opinion all the time, so we have to live with that. There's nothing we can do about that.
It's funny because looking at your lineups throughout the season, in 3 games running now, you haven't changed the side. Back at the start of the season, you did it for 2 games. That's the only 2 times where you haven't changed it during the season. It's this you've gone for matches and quite sensibly horses for courses.
Well, I think we just needed to just settle everything down. You know, we were looking for the happy medium. We, as I say, certain players, you know, didn't really want to play in certain positions that we asked them to play in, so they're no longer at the football club. And so, you know, you've got to get people that want to play for the football club in certain positions. So, and once we do that, we can settle it all down. And the shape for me is quite good. As I said, second half we went 4-4-2, and I thought we was poor. I felt we missed Sol in the little pocket there. We moved him back slightly in the second half to a 4-4-2, and as I say, the 2 forwards in the second half didn't play as a pair. So we might as well play one up front and one in the hole, and try and play a bit more football in the hole from that side of it. I felt Sean Lucian came on at half time and gave us a great option. And Zane looked a little bit tired today, but you know, Zane's played no football for nearly a year, so we've got to try and get him back to match fitness, even though it's coming towards the end of the season. You know, we have to try and keep working with him, and he'll come through it. But unfortunately, it'll be, you know, when we've lost him in the last 3 or 4 games, when we've lost him for the end of the season, that's when he'll be ready to start playing some football, because he's not played enough football this season at all.
We had a lot of corners today and quite a few free kicks in decent places. Was our delivery good enough?
No, our delivery was poor, and David was told about that at half time, but also there's some stuff there that went on today, and I'm not going to go and elaborate on it because it will let people know what our corners are all about. But we went dead on set pieces today, and as I said, when you get a set piece you should come alive. We went dead, and I spoke about that at half time and at the end of the game. You know, we had enough corners, we probably had 10, 12 corners today, but the delivery wasn't good enough, our movement wasn't good enough, and some players just drifted into areas where we don't want them to be. We spoke about it at half time, but we need to get back on the training pitch on Tuesday night and work on our set pieces again, because players switched off, and that really comes from the way we started the game, the way we ended up 1-0 down, and you know, we had to go and chase the game in poor areas, but then, you know, I look back in the first half, we played some wonderful football at times there. The keepers made 3 or 4 really good saves, and you know, at the end of the day, if one of them goes in or 2 of them goes in, we come in at half time feeling quite comfortable. The longer the game went on, we started to just lump it a little bit, but as I said to you earlier, I didn't feel the 2 forwards played near enough together. They're 2 separate, and a lot of things broke down in the second half through frustration.
With just 4 games to go, do you feel you've got the basis here for us to have a better season next season, like you've improved this season over last year?
I would say not at the moment. We know we need to bring some players in. We know we need to bring. You could say we need to bring 3, 4, 5 or 6 in. We don't know at the moment. We need to see what players want to stay with us. Some players might not want to stay. Some players might want to go like they did last year. There's 1 or 2 players might want to chase the money. But we'll decide that at the end of the season, at the end of the day. But there's loads of players out there. You know, we've got to make sure we bring the right players in. As we said before, we've got to bring players in that want to be at the football club. We've got to bring players in that have got a great energy. I think you've seen today when young Kieran came on in the last 20-25 minutes, he gave us a great energy today. And that's what we need. We need players coming off the bench and giving us that sort of energy, and it got the team going again. He started to get us ticking. His ball retention was very, very good, and he got into some really good areas. And you know, luckily enough, as I say, it just took probably the goal of the season. I think they might close today, but I think that was probably the goal of the season. The way that went in the last couple of seconds.
Well, I think Junior's going to Carlisle still might just beat it.
Yeah, it might do, but I think, you know, for that situation where it was there, and it looked like it was going to go over the bar quite high at one stage, but just sort of dipped at the last minute. And as I say, their keeper had got a hand to everything. I think 3 or 4 shots in the first half, everyone went straight to him, and he got a hand on it, or tipped it over the bar, or we missed a couple of half chances. And as I say, for me, it all starts with the first 2 or 3 minutes of the game. We didn't start bright. Started poorly, and once you go 1-0 down, it then becomes very difficult to go and break a side down who's defending for their lives. And if we could have got 1-0 up quite early, they've got to come out, and then I felt we could have gone and picked them off, and maybe a 1 with a bit more comfort. But obviously we've had to settle for the draw in the end. And but that was very much going back sort of 3 or 4 weeks ago for me today, the way we started the game.
Talking to players who may or may not want to be with us, last summer Michael Fanasitis was one who decided he didn't want to be with us, and took him about 75 seconds to make his mark today. Would you have liked to have kept him?
Well, I spoke to him. I wanted to keep him, but he wanted more money elsewhere. So at the end of the day, we have to respect the money we have to pay the players. We sat down and had a good chat. We spoke on the telephone, and he decided he wanted to go to Margate for the financial reasons, which is fine. But you know, he's obviously done well when he's come on today. But he came on for 20 minutes against Hemel in January and didn't do nothing. So that's life. At the end of the day, we have to live with things like that when they come back. We can't do nothing about that. You know, Michael took his goal really well. And we have to just get on with that. There's nothing. I don't look back at stuff like that, because at the end of the day, I made him a good offer in the summer, and my conscience is clear where that became. And if he wants to go and chase money and get money, then that's down to the boy at the end of the day.
Next Saturday, Easter Saturday, away to White Hawk. Really, when another side that's fighting against the drop, and when you're fighting down there, you look to play mid-table sides who've got nothing to play for this time of year. We are that sort of side at the moment.
Well, we are, but you know, you probably don't know me enough, David, and I don't just sit there and accept that we're just going to go through the motions. And perhaps you'll see that over the years as you've seen me today. You know, I'm involved with the referee, I'm involved with the linesmen, I'm involved with their players. I don't want to sit there and just go through the motions. I want to win every game of football I go for. So at the end of the day, you know, we've got ourselves out of the muck today. But for me, it wasn't good enough because we didn't start well enough, and on all the stuff we worked on in week, it's been undone by the way we started the game. Concentration levels, the way we moved the ball, the way we passed the ball, the way we put balls into areas. We didn't do that for the first 5 minutes, and before you know where we are, we're 1-0 down. And that for me sets the tone of the game for the rest of the match. Everything that we planned all week goes out the window, as you say. Our set pieces wasn't good enough, our movement wasn't good enough, and when we got set pieces, we switched off to them, went tired and had rest. There was incidents in the second half there where the balls come in the box and people have got their hands on their knees, and I just spoke about that in there now. You know, we've got to be looking to go and attack the ball in them areas and be on the front foot rather than being on the back foot, and I felt too much today. We were on the back foot today.
It just seems to take a long time coming out of the dressing room tonight. It does suggest you don't want the rest of the season just to drift.
No, I won't, and that's what I said to you at the end of the day. We've had a good conversation today about things in terms of where we are. You just think you're going to turn the corner, and 2 very good performances in terms of the way we've defended in the last 2 weeks, and I just need to let the players know that, you know, these are all the things that if we want to progress, and it's going to be tough to progress anymore, but I really felt we could win the last 5 games. And before today, my target was them to go and win the last 5 games. If you win the last 5 games, it puts you on 68 points. You just don't know, but you put other teams under pressure. And my target was today, let's go and win the last 5 games. The way we're going, we can go and do that. But for me, you know, as I say, I keep going back to it, harping back to it. Once we give that goal away, the game plan's gone out the window because of the way they've defended for their lives. As I said, yeah, we've had 3 or 4 really good chances in the first half, and played some really good football in the first half. We moved the ball, got them behind their fullbacks, got good crosses in, got some good shots in, but everything went to the keeper. 1 or 2 of them might have gone slightly the other way. I apologise for that. The other way, we might have gone in at 1 or maybe 2-1, and it would have been a different game. But unfortunately, you know, we had to wait to the 94th minute. But that's 3 games unbeaten, so we have to try and take the positives from today. It'll be very difficult because, as I say, for me, we should have been better today than what we was in the long term. You know, we had lots of possession, as I say, lots of crosses, lots of corners, but the end product wasn't there, and we have to go and work on that now for next Saturday.
Right, thanks very much, Ian. So we're trying to win
Cheers,
now
David.
our last 4 games, starting down at Whitehawks on Easter Saturday the 15th of April. Kick-off at the enclosed ground. National League South is at 3 p.m.